So I'm back. Right, so now I'm going to work out, I will turn it round now, because I can see it better from this side. As I say, I won't start. Dog ears everywhere, look at them. Daisy, what are you mate with dog ears? Right, now, so we're here. Some of the sheets tell you the numbers and some of them don't. It really bugs me when they do it this way. There's nothing there, you see, about numbers go, you're literally guessing, right, so that's 2 there, what's that there, what's that there? So this is MO3 again. That looks like 2 MO3s actually, to be fair. MO3 and MO3. Okay, MO3, MO3, so that's them 2 there. Then there's this. And then hidden behind that is MO9 and M13. That doesn't make any bloody sense. That seems to be this bit here, MO9. Okay, so that's got 2 tiny little hinges on it. Oh, I see, MO9 is one complete piece. So that's got 2 hinges. And then MO9 and M13. Oh, okay. Now we've got M13. Oh, right, okay. So M13 is, if you can see it, you can't make it out really. It's a very tiny piece that seems to go on the deck, seems to go on that, and sticks up. You can't see it very well because of the way they've done it. And on this bit here, oh, okay, I can see it there. So it stands up off the top. There's another one there. Okay, so there's a few of them have little bits that stick up. So let's get the M13s done. Right now, hinges go that way. So when it comes to doing them, I think you put the tops on first and then put them little bits that are sticking out. We'll go on last. Because obviously if I put a piece on there that's sticking up, I'm going to knock it on. So they will go on last. Well, that's really interesting because so I just want to check this, just bear with me. That's really interesting because there's 3 bits there. I'm looking at this bit here. So that's this bit here. There's the 2 bits. There's that bit there that it's talking about once the things are in place. There's them bits. But what there is not, there they are again. There's nothing about putting anything on them again here. There's nothing there, there's nothing there. So if you build it as is out of the box, there's nothing supplied with that would make sense as PE. We would have them sticky up bits. But I have seen them done. You see, there's the bits there, but there's nothing sticking up out of them. That's the bit I'm talking about here, but there's nothing sticking up out of that. And there's nothing right at the end. They've kept back to do it last, so you're not banging it and knocking it. So if you do it as is, like Trumpeter version, they don't supply any PE for that. And they don't supply anything that's gonna, sorry, I'm going to rid of super glue. They don't supply anything. I'm going to tidy up this deck. They don't supply anything that will do the bits that stick up. But I have seen that done. I have seen somebody doing it. I think the Edward kit, I believe the Edward kit has these same bits and has the little tabs on them that you pull up. I always thought, well, that's a bit weird. It looked like hinges being pulled up, but it's not. It's them bits. Time, 12:30 already. I'll tell you what did happen last night. I was walking the dog, took her out for an evening walk for a strange. I don't know, it depends when people see this video. So on the 24th of March, I was out walking the dog, and if anybody saw it, maybe on the news or if they saw it in person, there was that spiral in the sky. Apparently the rocket fuel burning up. Absolutely unbelievable. I saw it from as I was walking the dog down the road where I am. And when I was looking across, I could see this light off in the distance. Dog earth, man. I could see the light off in the distance, and I thought it was the moon coming through the cloud, because that's exactly what it looked like. It looked like the moon in clouds at first. And as I saw it, as I kept looking at it, I kept thinking, well, no, actually, that's the wrong place. That's not where the moon comes from. It's in a completely different area. And then as I watched it, it was, I'm not sure that was moving, but it was moving very, very slowly. It was visible for about, a good 5 minutes. It was visible for a decent bit of time. But I couldn't work out what was going on. I couldn't work out whether it was the parted, whether it was the bit itself that was moving, and now I've forgotten what pieces I'm putting on there, nitwit. MO3. Right, let's mark them down. MO3. And I couldn't work out whether it was the piece itself that was moving. Piece itself, idiot. I couldn't work out whether it was the thing in the sky that was moving, or whether it was the rotation of the Earth that was making it move across. It was absolutely unbelievable. As it got down, it got right on top of me. It went right over the top of my head. And, I quite often think, should I take a camera out with me on my phone or something? You need to concentrate on what you're doing, mate. But I didn't have anything to take a photograph of it, unfortunately. Although it was in the news. So I don't know if anybody saw it. But like I say, it was coming down, moved across. It was unbelievable. It wasn't small. Well, it took up a fair bit of the sky. And apparently it was the Falcon X rocket. I couldn't quite work out how that works either, because they come down, unlike rockets from years and years ago. They now come down and they land, don't they? But I couldn't work out, because apparently this spiral is made by the rocket dumping its fuel. And then it was released in America and seen over here. So the thing was probably so high up that what you saw was actually moving along, and then it was dumping its fuel, and that's what stayed up there. It was a fantastic sight. One time you wish you had a camera with you. It was a really nice sight. Just weird, so weird. Shouldn't be used a tweezer, should I? Just need to use them to put it in place. A really weird sight. Looked nice though. But to see this, and then of course the next day there were a lot of people online. Did everybody see the UFO? A lot of people were deciding it was a UFO. So that was a bit strange. It wasn't a UFO, obviously. Now there's another bit. Already looks alright with the little bits of photo etch on there. Now this is going to take forever, this, by the way. I'll do this video and then the rest I'll do at some other point. There won't really be much point in doing it all with just showing you this. I mean, depends how bored you would get watching this going on like this. So MO9, now these are tiny. These are 2 doors. I haven't got a software editing, that's what I meant to say before. I've seen people doing it, they use the editing software and then they do the first few so you can get an idea of what's happening. And then they just fast forward through it all. Keep it going, but just fast forward through it. And normally I have some music on. I like to listen to a bit of music while I'm doing this. But I've done it before, I think I might have mentioned it before. I've had the music on, put the video on, and then the video has got a message back saying we've cut all the sound out of your video because I'm breaking the copyright laws on the music video. Which is why I haven't got the music on, obviously. And so what I'll do is, once I've done a few of these, and you've got the general idea of what's going to happen, I will then carry on the rest, and we'll come back to it later on. I think one of the better parts to watch, or to get to sort of see, would be once I start putting all the bits on, all the superstructures, once they start going on, then it will look a lot different. So this is 13, and this has got this sticky up bit. And you see there's a difference between them and them. There's very little detail in these ones. So that means that those two here are the same as that. So they're M13. And then we've got all these bits here. I think there are something like 37 boxes to be made up. Luckily, they're only plastic. I think they're already made. And you just add the photo etch to them to enhance them. That, I do know I've seen them built with Pontos, and like I say, every single bit of it is built up. I mean, I could just imagine taking all of this off the deck, except for a few of the bits, think a lot of this is all replaced with the contrast kit, you know. So it would take, you know, I mean, it takes forever. There's almost certainly no reason, as I've said, because the part is what's her name? Now, the hinges go to the back. You can see that because I can see them. I mean, I could just imagine having to do this and build all of these out of photo etch. I dread to think how long it would take. This is the sort of thing, do you or don't use photo etch, you know. Because at the end of the day, as I say, the photo etch is enhancing. That's right, the hinges at the end. So that would open that way if we were going to have it open. Wow, I can't recommend this glue enough. This is so impressive. And as I say, what I would normally do is I would have the music on. I listen to a bit of music, usually on Spotify or YouTube. The amount of times I've done that, I've been turned and nothing's come out because they've told me I'm breaking the copyright. Now, that there, I've got that big long one, which doesn't tell me what the number is. It really bugs me when they don't put any numbers on. M18L04. M18, I believe, is them little tiny bits. M18 is these little. No, I don't. You put them on, you won't even see them. L04. So I reckon this is L04 and L04, which is just there. So it's done in two pieces. Right, so this is done in two pieces as well now. So oh, there's another one there. It must be the same as well. L04, L04, L04. So those three are all the same. This is the thing with placing the stuff. You can't always hinges go that way, and that way. So that's actually going to be 6 pieces going on here. I'm looking forward to using that glue on something else. Another few bits that usually take the amount of times, as I've said, I would drop a piece on with the glue. I'll have a little bit of glue on it. I think you'd have enough. I'll leave that little bit there. Give a guide to it. Go hinges that way. The amount of times when I've done these little bits and I've dropped it on with that other super glue, it dries just like that. And you end up with the piece usually in a corner or somewhere stupid at the end will dry solid. The rest of it won't. And then of course when you come to take it off, it doesn't come off very well. So you can use the little bit there coming down as a guide to where the actual bits would be. You see, if I put the two sticky up bits on them, I wouldn't stand a chance, would you? I'd knock them all off. I'll have to look at them and find out what they are. To see if they're in the anatomy of a shipbook. Valuable book. I use that for a lot of them. Of course, if I was very careful, I could do this with a Dremel. But I know what I'd do. I'd end up making the right pins here with it. Right, LO4, I believe I said that was. L, so LO4, LO4, LO4. And LO4 is these bits half, and we have LO4. And it's doing two, as you see. This is the thing with, I suppose with photo. Now they're joined together there. Because it's two. 1, 2. Yeah, 1, 2, 1, 2. Oopsie daisy. And this is the thing you see with photo etch. It's a do you don't you thing, yeah. Because I started building the model in January. So at the moment it's taken just on 3 months. So without all that photo etch, would have probably had this stick painted now. Probably, well, I mean, there's so much photo etch on, oh, you twit. There's so much photo etch on the model, so you can nearly take your finger off. There's so much photo etch on the model that it just, you know, it just adds so much time to the model. I reckon if I hadn't added all the photo etch, I would have had this deck painted. I would have probably, almost certainly, have had the where's the little bit? Don't want to lose it, mate. You need the bit with the hinges on. Now, which way it hinges that way? If I hadn't used the photo etch, I reckon I would be building up all the bridge work now. You know, it just takes so long that we went, but it's one of those things I've said before in videos. I actually quite enjoy doing it, but I hate it. Especially when you've got a piece. When you've got this little bit of photo etch, you've got to put it on. You get the plier, you get tweezers, and in some instances you can't actually get to the part perfectly. So you put a little bit of super glue on, bring it into position, everything marries up perfect, dry fitted, and then you put a little tiny bit of super glue on the back of the bit you're going to put on. Move over to the model, put it on the piece like I put these pieces on, and then you come back to it, you do something to it about I don't know, 2 days later, and it suddenly decided, right, okay, not going to happen, mate. Hinges were coming this way. I put everything down 6 miles away from where I'm working. And you put that little bit of photo edge on. I keep forgetting where the hinges went. Hinges are that way. You put the little bit of photo edge on, and then what happens? Nothing. Doesn't glue down. And the next day you're doing something. See, that's literally down now. The next day you're doing something and you touch something, and photo edge comes off. You think, well, hang on a minute, you've been sat there for 2 days, not moving, so why have you decided to come off now? And you know, it just will not cure as it should do. But if you take that bit of photo etch, put a little bit of super glue on it, gently guide it into where it's got to go and drop it, and it falls into a little crevice, will you be able to take that out of that crevice? Not a hope in hell, because it will adhere immediately. You end up having to, if you've got something bonded, you can just about get it off, but because of how it is, you get a pair of pliers and different bits on it, and it obviously bends all the photo etch out of position, and makes a right pizzy of it. Oxidation. You see, that's the bit I mean when I put these on before, with the other glue, putting that on out of place like that and dropping in, that would have cured immediately. But I'm able to maneuver these for, well, like it says on the thing, 10 to 30 seconds, and that's about right. I'm able to maneuver all these for about 20 seconds there. So they're doing really well. Hello, dog. Alright, I just heard my dog standing at the door. That means she wants to go out, or she thinks she does. Too early, Daisy. Another 20 minutes yet, mate. No, 20 minutes. She does this. She has a set time. I take her out at set times, and occasionally it's 1 o'clock or thereabouts. And so she gets into her mind that every single day it's 1 o'clock, and we're going to go out walkies at 1 o'clock. She remembers things like that. What she doesn't do is remember the things that I want her to remember, of course. My God, this is such a pleasure to be able to maneuver these pieces without them gluing down immediately. It really is a pleasure. So there's looking all right now, you know. There's a nice bit of photo etch on there. We're up to 28 minutes. So that's a decent bit of photo etch on there now already. Now we've got MO3. that bit? No, that's that bit. MO3 and MO3. So MO3. Sorry. So on here, you've got the two bits. You've got the two pieces up. That's MO3. Now it's got MO3 there, but on that bit there's nothing. On the other side, it's got the MO3 at the top and nothing on the bottom. Why they couldn't have put MO3 is beyond me. This is what gets me with these things. When they do that, you think, well, why couldn't you have put that both together? You know, instead of making it look right, hinges that way, hinges that way. Why couldn't you just put it together as normal? That's going to have four pieces on that. So is that, so is that. I mean, this is taking time enough here. I think what this is going to be like once you start putting all the boxes in. Some 37 boxes, I think, go on this deck. They go in all these little holes that are everywhere, and there's little bits and pieces that pieces go into. It's amazing, really. So MO3 hinges that one. Hinges this way. Chap out there in an oyster van looking, you can see in the window. Probably thinks I'm talking to me, so probably looking out there and thinking, what the hell is he doing talking to himself and me coming away? So that's them. So now we want two MO3s. And 05 or 203. I think I might invest in a bit more of that super glue. Just so you don't have to spend so much on it. You don't have to buy the best of the glues. I mean, I've seen recommendations. Say who, I can't even remember who. I've seen recommendations for super glue. The best super glues for modelling photo etch. And one of them, can't remember what it was now. It was a special, whatever it was, super glue. And when I checked it out, couldn't buy it on Amazon. He brought it from a model shop or somewhere. It was £12 something, £11.95 I think, for a same size sort of bottle. So 11, you know, so it just shows you don't need to spend all that money on super glue. That's the problem I have, is I buy. And I'll buy something and you think, ah, right, okay, I'll buy the best. So hinges will go in that way. And you don't need to spend tons of money. Get out of the way. See, once again, you see, with the other glue, dropping that on like that, I would have glued instantly. I wouldn't have been able to move it around like this. This is as good as that Homo glue. I use that Homo glue a lot on some of the parts. Because occasionally you need a glue that's not going to obviously cure immediately. I think I put a tad too much on that. That's no problem. And this one, and handles can down that way. But it's always best to put, well, personal opinion really, but I find it's always best to put just a little bit too much on, so you can actually manoeuvre the part and move the part around. Stick broke. Oh, now I've got a bit of dirt on that one. It's always best to put that little bit too much extra on, so you can manoeuvre than messing about doing it. Now that's quite impressive. Look at that. So that's now coming along. Right, now I think you've seen enough now. Let me move the camera up. Right, I reckon you've seen enough there, because this is 36 minutes now. So this is an hour and a half I've been doing this now. And I've put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so I put in 2s anyway. So I'll get out of the way. So I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I put 15 bits of photo etch on there. And that's taken me an hour and a half, literally. So I'll just turn that light off. So that's taken an hour and a half. And that's got that much on, and there's almost twice as much again to do. So there's no point in just watching me put photo etch on like this all day. I'll come back once I've got all the photo etch on. I know what them two are. And there's another one to there. They're them two small ones there. I'll come back once the photo etch is on here. I'll probably concentrate on doing these photo etch bits. Whether I use all them splinter cells, I'm not sure I'm using them, because the thing is with this Trumpeter kit, to take, no, you can't see, I can't hold it up enough. Right, we're up, get out the way. So where are we? So here, where you've got all the bits, you can see all the detail inside there of the splinters, if you like. You see them better there. So replacing all them with all them little tiny splinters, when they just look identical in plastic as well, there's going to be no difference. Taking a sander to them and sanding them out, you could probably do it with a Dremel or something. Taking all them out just to replace them with identical pieces of photo etch. Let me put that back up. Replacing them with photo etch, I think it's pointless. I don't see the point of that. It's just silly, because the pieces that are there, you can see what they are. They're tiny. I mean, they are very small. So taking all these bits here and all that, I mean, look at the size of them. These bits here, look at them under my thumb. They're all the bits that you would take off and replace inside these bits. But I don't see the point of that. I really seriously do not see the point of it. It's going to prove nothing whatsoever other than making work for yourself, when it's going to look identical to what's already there, as is happening with these photo etch bits going on here. As I've said, they look just as well in the plastic as they do in the photo etch, but I enjoy putting the photo etch in because it has got that subtle bit of a difference on these bits. So I'll have to make a decision on the on all these hundreds, well, there's not hundreds, but it's quite a lot of these things for the ship's boats. As I say, I reckon I could take off those parts and use those photo etch parts and attach them to the plastic parts. So there is better detail in the photo etch parts. But then it's massive lot of work, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. There's about 40 of them. 30 or 40 of these things that the ship's boats sit on. So to sand all them down, compared to how small they are, and then attaching those photo etch parts to them, I'll have to put some serious thought into that one. As I say, I think the photo etch part would look better. I'll have to make one up. You can't go wrong, because they've got, as I say, they've got the tabs in them. You see, because they go down at a slight angle there. I'm not using the plastic bits, not having the tabs would be very difficult. So I'll come back in a few days. I'm going to carry on with all these little bits. Maybe this afternoon, I'll see. I'm going to have to find somewhere to put all that stuff now, because I'm not going to put this back on the deck now for a little while. I'm not going to keep putting this on and off the deck, because if I do, it'll make a right piece here of it. And I'll eventually take all the railings down. So let me take the camera out. Now I'm using a microphone, an external microphone. I've got it attached to the thing here. Hopefully, if I take that microphone out, let's take it out. Hopefully you can still hear me. Now then, I just remembered I can't switch the cameras around when I'm recording. So here's how the ship looks at the moment. Well, it would be if I could get the camera on it. So there's the deck. It's difficult to get this really, because I can't, it's no good putting a 2-minute video up showing you what it looks like, but roughly try and work out where I am on that. So there's where the bow looks now. There's the 2 guns on and the missile, the rocket launcher on the top. So there's a bit of photo etch can go around that. And it's got they're not davits. I can't get this. I can't work out where the camera is. Right, so these bits on the side, hanging over the side, are not davits. They're made out of. I'm trying to get this so you can see one properly. They're made up out of about 7 pieces of them. They're made out from the MK1 kit with some of the rolled. It's metal, not brass. And what they actually are what would you call them? They're not davits. What they do is they hold the paradigm, whatever you call it. They hold them in position as they come below the boat, as they drag them along the boat. I believe they do underwater radar, aren't they? Looking for mines and that. So what I've got is the MK1 kit has 2 of them in it, paradigms. So I'm toying with the idea of taking one of the plastic ones, maybe finding out what they use to attach, putting a line down, putting a paradigm down and putting it down the side of the ship somewhere to make it look like it's going to be going into the water. I might just do that. I can see that gun there sticking up. That would bug me. Right, now, so I'll see you all again in few days or so. Hopefully I can get these, you're getting the sound all right here. I've got no idea where the microphone is on this. It's somewhere silly. So I'm hoping you're getting the sound now without the thing in. Now, I'll say it now, when I record this, when I put this on the PC and have a look at it, the sound will be absolutely perfect. It won't be, you'll hear my voice clear as a bell. For some reason, I haven't worked out why, once I download it to YouTube, the sound changes and it goes very low. Now I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's being recorded in HD and then it says it's being brought down to single definition from high definition. I don't quite understand why YouTube does that, but it alters the sound. So if it does alter the sound, I apologise now in advance so you'll hear me properly. And I'll still be working on trying to get a decent camera to do more than 20-minute videos. So I hope you've all enjoyed that little bit today. I hope I got bored of all my gabbing. And at the end of the day, it was mostly just showing you bits and pieces. And by the time I come back again the next time, that shelter deck should be very close to being finished. I'm getting ready, maybe even putting it on the ship, gluing it onto the ship. And then we should be getting ready to start doing all the housing on the decks, and that's where it now gets really interesting. So I'll see you all again. Thank you very much for watching the videos. Please, well, I'm not going to, you can like them if you wish to press the like button, please do. But I hope I'm not going to say like my videos now. So I hope you all enjoyed that. I'll see you all again in a little while. Try not to make it so long between videos. It's about a month between videos, I think. But all that work I was doing on the bow, it was just so complicated here and there. You just make mistakes if you're gabbing away. So I'll see you all again soon. Thank you very much for listening and watching. And anybody who is watching, once again, I will, if you remember what I said about that glue, absolutely fantastic glue. That's the best super glue I've ever used. I will see you all again soon. Thank you very much. Enjoy your modelling, everybody. Bye bye.